On Delta TV News tonight, Governor Sheriff Oborevwori charges State Ministry of Water Resources Development to ensure transparency and efficiency in management of water projects. State Deputy Governor Samande Onyeme marks 60th birthday. Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria says it is the sole medium empowered to grant broadcast licenses in Nigeria. And abroad, Zimbabwe's President Mr. Emerson Mnangagwa appoints new army chief ahead of planned protest on Monday. Good evening and thank you so much for joining us for Delta TV Main News at 8. I am a Blessing Usiagwada. The state governor, Governor Sheriff Oborevwori, has charged the State Ministry of Water Resources Development to ensure transparency and efficiency in the management of water projects. Governor Oborevwori gave the charge during the celebration of this year's World Water Day with the theme Glacier Preservation, held at the Unity Hall, Government House, Asaba. Ejime Udweme reports.
Governor Oborevwori said veterans deserved access to potable water and says that his administration will not accept substandard work or mismanagement of resources in the critical water sector. The governor, who was represented by his Chief of Staff, Honorable Johnson Erijo, enjoined veterans to use the opportunity of the celebration to commit to protecting water resources, mitigating climate change, and ensuring a sustainable future for generations to come. Speaking on the theme of the celebration, glacier preservation, the governor noted that though glaciers were not available in Nigeria, it was important to recognize the interconnectivity of the world, adding that melting of glaciers due to climate change had far-reaching consequences, affecting global water cycles, increasing the risk of flooding, and threatening biodiversity. He pointed out that glaciers were disappearing globally at an alarming rate due to rising temperatures, thereby disrupting water supplies, causing landslides, and increasing the frequency of floods and droughts.
Our administration has prioritized proactive measures to mitigate the impact of flooding and climate change. Under our MORE agenda, we have embarked on an ambitious infrastructural development plan, ensuring that all road projects, including well-constructed drainage systems.
Earlier in his welcome address, the State Commissioner for Water Resources Development, Honorable Isaac Tosa Wiliki, said the World Water Day was a day set aside by the United Nations to highlight the importance of fresh water and to advocate sustainable management of fresh water resources. Honorable Wiliki added that this year's focus on topics relevant to clean water, sanitation and hygiene, WASH, in line with the target of the Sustainable Development Goals SDG 6. He commended Governor Oborevwori for his administration's commitment to providing potable water for veterans, pointing out that 81 water schemes were functional in various communities across the state, while more would commence within the year.
What concerns us most now is drinking potable water. Yes, in Delta State, all efforts have been made to making sure that Deltans have quality water to drink.
The State Commissioner for Economic Planning, Mr. Sonny Ekedayem, in his goodwill message, highlighted the importance of water to life, stressing the need to preserve glaciers to guarantee safe sources of fresh water.
The glacier, like somebody already said, constitutes about 7% of the world's water reservoir. So that means they are primarily our source of fresh water.
Some Deltans spoke on the importance of the celebration and the need to maintain good hygiene.
Like I've been told today, the glacier is melting, and because of that, it's causing a lot of challenges to us.
For Deltans, I want to say that we should keep trying to ensure that we have clean water, clean potable water.
There were lectures delivered by various resource persons as well as an interactive section.
As part of activities marking the 60th birthday of the State Deputy Governor, Sir Monday Onyeme, a free medical outreach was organized to bring the much-needed healthcare to the people of Aniocha-Oshimili Federal Constituency. The medical outreach, under the auspices of the Monday Onyeme Foundation, held at the Ogwashiku Civic Center, Ogwashiku, Aniocha South Local Government Area. Pere Botu has details.
The event provided treatment for over 1,000 individuals suffering from different ailments such as malaria and typhoid, high blood pressure, stomach ulcers, and general health conditions. In his remarks, Sir Monday Onyeme expressed gratitude to the people for attending the medical outreach and urged them to continue supporting the Oborowori-led administration, emphasizing the government's commitment to infrastructure development across the state. The Deputy Governor said the medical outreach program was his way of giving thanks to God for his faithfulness to him and his family, adding that getting to the age of 60 was by the mercy of God. He stressed the importance of showing gratitude to God by extending blessings to others, adding that no one had seen God, but people see God through others. Sir Onyeme thanked local government chairman for mobilizing the people for the free medical outreach. The state deputy chairman PDP, Chief Moses Idu, thanked Sir Monday Onyeme for his generosity, urging other political leaders to follow his example. The chairman of Aniocha South, Pastor Jude Chukwueke, speaking on behalf of chairmen from the Aniocha-Oshimili Federal Constituency, described the deputy governor as a visionary leader who always prioritized the well-being of his people. Former Minister High Chief Chuks Agbobu and other dignitaries shared goodwill messages expressing their admiration for Sir Monday Onyeme and offering prayers for his continued success. The celebration concluded with the cutting of birthday cake, marking a day of generosity, leadership, and unwavering commitment to the people. The Monday Onyeme Medical Outreach Program, organized to celebrate the 60th birthday of the State Deputy Governor, Sir Monday Onyeme, had provided free health care for the people of Undokwa Ukwani, Ika, and the Aniocha-Oshimili Federal constituencies. I am Pere Botu reporting.
As part of the week-long celebrations marking the 60th birthday of the State Deputy Governor, Sir Monday Onyeme, family, friends, and well-wishers gathered for a grand celebration in his hometown, Ibabu. Pere Botu has details.
The event, tagged Otoziani Ezine Celebration Day, drew an array of dignitaries, including Honorable Charles Imetolu, member representing Undokwa West constituency in the State House of Assembly, Engineer Mike Anoka, Commissioner for Urban Renewal, Chief Dan Osai, Chairman PDP Delta North, Honorable Obi Inzete and Honorable Possible Ajede, Chairman of Undokwa West and Ukwani respectively, as well as various support groups. Speaking at the well-attended celebration, the State Deputy Governor, Sir Monday Onyeme, expressed gratitude to God for the gift of life and the privilege of attaining the diamond milestone of 60 years. He emphasized that his journey of life had been one of grace and divine mercy, prompting him to celebrate with his people. Sir Onyeme also appreciated the unwavering support of the people towards him and the Oborowori-led administration, reaffirming that the government remains committed to the development and progress of the Undokwa nation. He urged the people to continue their steadfast support, assuring them that the Undokwa nation stands firmly behind Governor Sheriff Oborowori. In their goodwill messages, Chief Dan Osai, Chairman PDP Delta North, and Honorable Obi Inzete, Chairman of Undokwa West, lauded Sir Onyeme's selfless leadership and compassionate nature. They prayed for more years of strength, wisdom, and peace as he continues his service to the people. The celebration featured the presentation of gift, a poetry recitation, a rally by support groups, and the cutting of the birthday cake. The 60th birthday celebration would be concluded on Sunday with a Thanksgiving service at the St. Philip's Anglican Church, AGGS Asaba, followed by a grand reception at his official residence in Asaba. I am Pere Botu reporting.
The wife of the state governor and founder Humanity Charity Foundation, Deaconess Dobore Oborewore, has called on parents of children with autistics and special needs to avail them the privilege of receiving special care at the Joy in Africa Foundation Center instead of locking them up at home. Deaconess Oborewori made the call when she visited the center and donated food items and medications to the foundation to ameliorate the plight of children at the center at Okpanam Road in Oshimili North Local Government Area. Florence Oyibodoro has details.
The Joy in Africa is a non-governmental organization that catered for autistic and children with special needs in the states. Addressing the gathering, Deaconess Tobore Oborewori said autistic and children with special needs were the core mandate of her foundation to give them a voice and ensure that they were well catered for. The governor's wife frowned at the way many persons look down on children with special needs and charge all to give the children the needed support as special gifts from God. While commending the proprietress for the good job, Deaconess Oborewori promised to pay the next annual rent of the center.
My visit here today is to extend my love and compassion with the presentation of some food items, medication, and other essentials. As part of the mission of my pet project, the Lumata Charity Foundation, we have a duty to care for children with autism and special needs and make sure they are all well taken care of. They are gifts from God, therefore, let us help them to fulfill their dream.
The founder of the Joy in Africa, Mrs. Joy Okonjo, who narrated how God instructed her to care for children with special needs, said the journey has not been easy, adding that God remembered her last year through the governor's wife's visits and her story had changed.
How did it happen? Saying that God. He said, since I said that to him, I said yes. Now God. Mommy, what happened? You came and you told me, you said that place is too small. You said, don't worry. Did you see this, our mommy? She's like the ark of God.
In a goodwill message, one of the executive directors of the Lumata Charity Foundation, Omo Oborewori Esquire, commended Joy in Africa for accepting to work for God's agenda and pray God to raise more helpers as they continue with the good works.
Many of them were at home, but your foundation has made it possible for them to come on, and it means a lot and it's a blessing. I want to say a big thank you.
Dr. Ejire educated the children on personal hygiene and healthy living to prevent viral infections and other diseases. The children had a wonderful time as the governor's wife and her entourage danced with them. One of the autistic children, called Prophet Samuel, passionately prayed for the governor's wife as well as Delta State. Items donated included 25 kilograms of rice, cartons of noodles, gari, beans, provision, toiletries, drugs, and other essentials. Florence Oyibodoro reporting.
The wife of the state governor and founder, Lumata Charity Foundation, Deaconess Tobore Oborewori, has advised traders in the state to prioritize safety within the market environment. Deaconess Oborewori gave the advice during the official commissioning of the reconstructed Nupe section of Igbudu Market and the presentation of 10 million naira revolving loan check to traders and all Nigeria Confederation of Principals of Secondary Schools and COPs for the free registration of students for NECO and JAMB in Warri South Local Government Area, Warri. Florence Oyibodoro has details.
Deaconess Tobore Oborewori said the reconstruction of the Nupe section of the markets was a milestone in the administration of the local governments. She charged the traders to ensure that all electrical works were done by professionals and urged them to put the facility to good use and work together to prevent further occurrence that may harm people or damage properties. The governor's wife commended the collaboration of the local government, chairman, market leaders, and all stakeholders who worked tirelessly to ensure the successful renovation of the burnt section of the markets.
Let us continue to support one another and together with the more agenda, which says meaningful development, opportunity for all, realistic reform, enhance peace and security. The governor has promised that he will do more to all debtors, and he promised that he will listen and he will do more, all inclusiveness. He is a progressive and hard-working governor.
The Warri South Council chairman, Comrade Isaac Agbetunyere, who highlighted some of his achievements since he assumed office, appreciated Governor Sheriff Oborevwori for the privilege to serve his people.
Your Excellency, I have successfully signed 6 bills into law, created 2 strategic offices for governance efficiency, namely Supervisory Councillor for Human Capital Development and Supervisory Councillor for Innovation and Sports. A first of its kind administrative structure in local government administration in Nigeria.
One of the beneficiaries expressed gratitude for the completion and handing over of the shops and prayed God to prosper the present administration. Highlights of the ceremony, which attracted dignitaries, including the Ovie of Agbara Warri Kingdom, Atanaru Igbe II, was the official commissioning of the facility by the governor's wife. Florence Oibodoro reporting.
The Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Emomoti Megowo, has commended the member representing Ugeli Udu Federal Constituency in the House of Representatives, the Right Honorable Francis Ejiro-Ogene Waive, for putting the interests of the state above any other. The Speaker, in a statement by his Chief Press Secretary, Mr. Nkemweke, was reacting when the federal lawmaker acknowledged Governor Sheriff Oborevwori's leadership style of prioritizing the interests of Deltans. The Right Honorable Guwa stated that the state governor has shown capacity in governance, stressing that even the blind can feel the positive impacts of this administration in state in the past 1 year and 10 months. The Speaker pointed out that the bravery of Right Honorable Waive in standing for the truth and the interests of the good people of Delta should be respected and appreciated, saying that the stand of the federal lawmaker was the way to sustain the current pace of development in Delta State. The state head of service, Mr. Reginald Bayoko, today pulled out of office in a symbolic ceremony. Bridget Agitu reports.
Hundreds of civil servants, friends, associates and well-wishers of Mr. Reginald Bayoko turned to Professor Chike Edunzia's secretariat to officially bid farewell to the retiring HOS, who arrived at the secretariat accompanied by his wife Vivian. Mr. Bayoko was received by his successor, Dr. Mini Oseji, and the College of Permanent Secretaries, after which he toured the Olorogun Felix Ibro Secretariat, the Secretariat Annex, and the Professor Chike Edozia Secretariat, where he addressed civil servants, encouraging them to remain diligent in the discharge of their duties and thanking them for their support, even as he urged them to extend same to his successor.
I just come here to say thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart for all the love and support that you have shown me throughout my years, not just as head of service, even as permanent secretary and the years beyond. I cannot thank you all enough. In saying thank you, I also want you to translate that love and support in a much more higher form to my successor.
Mr. Bayoko returned to the head of service office complex, where he inspected a guard of honor mounted by officers of the Delta State Fire Service, the Delta State Traffic Management Agency, and the Delta State Environmental Protection Agency, before proceeding to his office to cut his retirement cake. He was thereafter pulled out by the body of permanent secretaries in the state, led by the incoming head of service, Dr. Mini Oseji. Bridget Agitu reporting.
The state governor, Right Honorable Sheriff Oborevwori, has said those who questioned and challenged his educational qualifications during the 2023 electioneering campaign have been put to shame. Governor Borewore disclosed this when he played host to members of the Executive Committee of the Alumni Association of Ambrose Ali University, AAU, ECOMA, Worldwide, who paid him a courtesy visit at Government House, Asaba. Ejime Udreme reports.
He pointed out that the visit of the executive committee members of the AAU was another testament that he graduated from the university. He said he was greatly honored for the Hero Award and the Award of Excellence that was bestowed on him. Governor Borewore disclosed that he did a full-time program at AAU, stressing that he is a man with excessive local content. The governor thanked the university for standing behind him all through the court case over his academic qualifications.
The time when, in politics, there are a lot of blackmail. And at that time, they said the man didn't go to school. In fact, there was petition to my primary school, my secondary school, my universities and all that. And they called me from ECOMA. They said, give them. Because I did not do part-time. I did a full-time program.
Earlier, the worldwide president of Ambrose Ali University Alumni Association, Dr. Clifford Omozienga, told the governor that they were in Government House Asaba to pledge their support for him and his administration, while saying that Right Honorable Oborewore was the ever executive governor that has been produced by the university. Dr. Omozienga stated that members of the association will continue to rally around him and also celebrate the remarkable feat.
On this laudable achievement today, we'll be honoring you with 2 awards. One, the Ambrose Ali University Alumni Association Heroes Award, and secondly, the Ambrose Ali University Alumni Association Award of Excellence.
Ejime Uduime reporting.
In a symbolic gesture, the outgoing State Head of Service, HOS, Mr. Reginald Bayoku, has declared open a 2-day workshop on enhancing managerial competence for middle management officers today in Asaba, shortly after his polling out ceremony. The event, organized by the Directorate of Establishment and Pensions in collaboration with the Kakoki Consult, marked the Head of Service's last public official assignment before retiring from service. Violent Monye reports.
The workshop for officers from salary grade level 10 to 14 in the State Civil Service, with the theme Enhancing Managerial Competence, was aimed to equip the middle management officers with the necessary skills and knowledge to excel in their roles in contributing to the effective implementation of the state government's policies and programs. Declaring the event open, Mr. Reginald Bayoku underscored certain pillars that anchored professionalism to include capacity building, leadership development, change management, ethics, and integrity, as well as adaptation to modern technology. He stressed that civil servants must not settle for mediocrity, but pursue excellence with purpose.
Problem solvers and bridge builders. Enhancing managerial competence is not a luxury. It is a necessity for good governance and quality service delivery.
The resource person, a consultant with Kako Care Consultants Limited, Professor Peter Gasioko, said the workshop was aimed at empowering and equipping managerial civil servants with leadership skills, while commending the state government for the transformation witnessed in the civil service so far. He lauded the HOS contribution and dedication to capacity building, as well as his efforts to ensuring a smooth transition of power as he retires from meritorious service.
At this workshop, we aim to provide you with knowledge, strategies, and practical tools needed to enhance your managerial effectiveness.
The workshop, which featured lectures from several resource persons, was designed to enhance managerial competence of officers in the state civil service, highlighting the public service roles, effective time management, effective communication, interpersonal relation, and effective team building among other things, as ways of improving the officers' performance. Violet Moyi reporting.
The state government has sealed ShopRite Bakery, a department in ShopRite Mall, over alleged forgery and mutilated medical documents in Asaba. This action is part of efforts to mitigate the spread of cholera and Lassa fever in the state. Henry Onogwa reports.
The Director for Sanitation and Waste Management in the Ministry of Environment, Mrs. Francisca Atiga, who briefed newsmen after an on-the-spot inspection to various eateries in the state capital, said the inspection followed the recent outbreak of cholera and Lassa fever in the state, which had claimed many lives. She noted that the State Commissioner for Environment, Honorable Ejiro Jamani, and his team had worked around the clock to manage foodborne diseases, reducing the spread of cholera and Lassa fever in the state, adding that a reputable outlet such as ShopRite Bakery was sealed for operating with alleged mutilated medical report for food handlers in the eatery. Mrs. Atiga warned owners of eatery, hotels and pure water factories on the consequences of violating the state law, adding that forgery was a great misconduct as violators would not go unpunished.
I've seen the medical certificates with mutilated dates. I do not expect, in fact, at least expected ShopRite to do this. They should maintain the standards. Not that we have outbreak of diseases now, foodborne diseases all over the state. From January to February, we had cases of deaths as a result of cholera outbreak. And the state is trying to see what we can do to get rid of all these foodborne diseases. And look at what we are seeing. People handling food, and then their food handler report, you cannot get them proper food handler, which is supposed to be renewed every 6 months, and then you are mutilating one to present. It is not acceptable.
The state consultant on food and hygiene compliance in the ministry, Ambassador Gaga Ogane Ogale, said the team had kickstarted its inspection in the state capital as part of efforts to ensure thorough compliance to food hygiene, eliminate contamination of foodborne diseases, quackery, and infectious diseases. He noted that the team had earlier visited some eateries where they witnessed minimal violations and advised them to adopt waste bagging or putting in covered bins and urged them to align with the state government's environment and the health safety policies. Ambassador Genayole reiterated the ministry's stance on environment compliance, adding that the ShopRite Bakery would remain closed until it fully complies with the regulatory requirements to upholding environmental standards in the state.
But for now, within my firm, I've asked them to stop operation until they abate nuisance by going to a competent government-recognized hospital to run this test and come back to present it to us. For now, what we saw is invalid and a total fraud.
Henry Onogwa reporting.
Delta State has been a home of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and nothing will alter the trajectory. The Executive Assistant to the State Government on Public Enlightenment, Project and Policies, Mr. Olise Fejika, made the assertion while on a live radio program in Asaba. Ejime Udweme reports.
Mr. Ifejika, who was speaking against the background of speculations of possible defection to the APC from the PDP camp in the state, stressed that the cordial relationship between Governor Oborewori and President Bola Tinubu was hinged on good governance. He said the excellent performance of the governor had endeared him to many, adding that the governor will continue to partner the federal government to pave way for more dividends of democracy from the center.
We know Governor Sheriff Oborewori is a PDP member, governing a PDP state, and whatever he has in his arsenal will be deployed into making PDP great, make it strong in the state and at the national level. But like I said, if he at the state here is one man, a governor, contributing that much, what I mean contribution is not money, contributing all the support to PDP to be strong at the national level, and at some other end, it's not happening that same way. You won't blame him, but I know that he remains a strong PDP man.
on the proposed 1 billion naira loan scheme for micro, small and medium enterprises by the Delta State government in partnership with the Bank of Industry. The executive assistant said the funds will be disbursed as soon as the program was launched.
And Sheriff coming now has taken it a bit higher.
All right.
Taken a bit higher that 1 billion naira has been set aside to help businesses within the SMEs level and to make it soft loan for them to grow.
Ejime Uduime reporting.
You're watching Delta TV Main News. Still to come, Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria says it is the sole medium empowered to grant broadcast licenses in Nigeria. Details of this story and many more will come after the short break. Please stay tuned. Welcome back and thank you so much for staying tuned. Now the news continues. The Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria, BON, has informed local governments across the country that it is the sole medium through which the federal government collects license fees from broadcasting stations across the country. The organization was referring to the demand notice served on the Hit FM Calabar in January, requested the station to pay radio and television license. BON, in a statement signed by its Executive Secretary, Dr. Yemisi Bangoshe, said all conventional radio and television stations, private and public, licensed by the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, were its members, and it was therefore incumbent on it as the body representing the stations to bring to the attention of the councils the salient issues regarding broadcasting and the issue of radio and television license fees. The statement explained that the NBC and the President of the country, under Section 39, subsection 2 of the Constitution, were the authority empowered to grant broadcast licenses in Nigeria, stressing that local government were not empowered to grant broadcast licenses to anyone and were only given power to collect rates from persons within their council areas who own or possess radio and television sets. It added that the fees so collected by the councils are expected to be remitted to the broadcast stations and not to be kept by them, as they neither produce nor run radio programs or operate broadcast stations. BON pointed out that the demand notice served on the Hit FM requesting it to pay radio license fees was therefore wrong and misdirected, demanding that the Calabar municipal government withdraw same and discontinue the further service of demand of notice on broadcast stations to pay radio and television license fees or rates, as it would amount to intentional harassment of broadcast stations in its domain. It categorically stated that any bylaws made by any local or municipal government purporting to vest powers on it to charge or collect license fees or rates from any broadcast station was inconsistent with the provisions of the 1999 Constitution and therefore null and void. As part of efforts to ensure a safe and hitch-free Eid al-Fitr celebration, the Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, Delta State Sector Command, has commenced its Eid al-Fitr special patrol from March 27 through April 2. A statement signed by the Superintendent Route Commander, Sector Public Education Officer, Mr. Patrick Obiago, says the special operation is aimed at reducing road traffic crashes, fatalities and injuries by enforcing strict compliance with road traffic laws, providing prompt rescue services, and ensuring obstruction-free highways. In preparedness for the exercise, FRSC Delta State Sector Command had deployed over 1,500 personnel, including special marshals, along with 20 patrol vehicles, 2 bikes and ambulances for effective enforcement and emergency response. It added that a 70-ton heavy-duty tow truck and strategic collaboration with the State Tow Truck Association have been put in place for swift clearance of road obstruction. The statement said public enlightenment campaigns have also been heightened to raise awareness on critical safety measures. It advised motorists to avoid speeding, dangerous overtaking, overloading and driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs, while urging passengers to play their part by calling drivers to order when necessary, while pedestrians must use designated crossings. The Nigeria Customs Service, NCS, has announced the deployment of an electronic currency, e-currency declaration form as part of its anti-money laundering measures for travelers carrying cash into and out of Nigeria. The service's spokesperson, Mr. Abdullahi Maiwada, stated this in Abuja. Mr. Maiwada said the form was designed to help travelers declare any currency exceeding the legal threshold before arrival or departure. Mr. Maiwada explained that the electronic system would improve monitoring by allowing the NCS to share information with relevant authorities. He emphasized that the NCS was enhancing awareness on money laundering regulations and reinstating airport signage in English and French. Mr. Maiwada noted that current currency seizures at airports and borders were as a result of increased vigilance by the NCS. The Anti-Money Laundering Prevention and Prohibition Act 2022 and the NCS Act 2023 mandate that travelers carrying about 15.4 million naira or its equivalent in negotiable instrument must declare it to the NCS. And now to news around the world. Zimbabwe's president, Mr. Emmerson Mnangagwa, has appointed a new army chief ahead of planned protest on Monday called by a group of war veterans trying to force the president to resign. The former Major General Emmanuel Matutu takes over with immediate effect. President Mnangagwa has faced calls from his former supporters to step down, citing mismanagement and corruption. Earlier this week, Mr. Mnangagwa abruptly retired his army chief, Lieutenant General Anselm Sanwatwe, appointing him Sports, Arts and Culture Minister. He became president in 2017 following a coup against longtime leader Robert Mugabe and is currently serving his second and final term, which expires in 2028. Trouble began brewing during rallies of the governing ZANU-PF party last year after reports that Mnangagwa wanted to stay in office despite a recent assurance from Mnangagwa that he intended to step down in 3 years. The police have announced a 4-day ban around the capital on the carrying of weapons or any instrument that can be used to cause violence. Australia will head to the polls for a federal election on May 3 in what is predicted to be a tight race. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, whose Labour Party will be defending a small majority, announced the date from Parliament House today. Opinion polls predict a slim margin between the country's 2 major parties and the possibility either will have to work with independent members of parliament or minor parties, which combined won a record share of the vote at the last election to form the next government. The campaign is expected to be dominated by cost of living issues the Labour is fighting to avoid becoming the first single-term government to lose an election in almost a century. And to Egypt, 6 Russians have died and 39 foreign tourists rescued from a viewing submarine yesterday sank off the Egyptian Red Sea resort in Hurghada. The local governor's office said no passengers or crew were still missing. The Red Sea Governorate said a submarine named Sinbad had 50 people on board. 45 tourists of different nationalities from Russia, India, Norway and Sweden, and 5 Egyptian crew members. According to the company's website, the submarine was equipped with large portholes to let passengers see the Red Sea's spectacular corals and marine life, and was able to descend to a depth of 25 meters. Egyptian authorities are conducting investigations with crew members to determine the causes of the submarine sinking. And now to business news. The federal government borrowed a total of 1.94 trillion naira from bond investors in the first quarter of 2025. An analysis of bond auction results released by the Debt Management Office showed. However, the amount was raised through federal government of Nigeria bonds over the 3 months and does not include borrowings through the FGN Savings Bond Program. The figure represents the total amount allotted to investors who participated in the monthly FGN bond auctions for January, February, and March 2025. The Punch observed that the government had initially offered 1.10 trillion naira in bonds over the quarter, but ended up allotting 1.94 trillion naira following strong investor interest that pushed total subscriptions to 2.83 trillion naira. The January auction saw the government offer 450 billion naira across the 3 instruments: the 5-year 19.30% FGN April 2029, the 7-year 18.50% FGN February 2031, and a newly introduced 10-year 22.60% federal government January 2035 bond. There was no non-competitive allotment in January, indicating that the entire amount was taken through competitive bidding. In January 2024, the government offered 360 billion naira and received 604.56 billion naira in subscriptions, with 418.2 billion naira eventually allotted. By February 2025, the government offered 350 billion naira divided between the 5-year and 7-year bonds. Demand surged to 1.63 trillion naira, far outstripping the offer. March 2025 recorded an offer of 300 billion naira for 2 bonds, a reopening of the 5-year 19.30% federal government April 2029 and a 9-year 18.89% federal government May 2033. Still in business, the Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation has called for increased financial literacy among Nigerian youth, equipping them with the knowledge and tools necessary to make informed financial decisions and build long-term financial security. Speaking during the Financial Literacy Day 2025 outreach to students of Government Secondary School Kachingoro in Abuja as part of Global Money Week activities, NDIC officials emphasized the importance of early education on savings, budgeting, responsible spending, and investments. The senior manager in the Insurance and Surveillance Department of the NDIC, Madina Mustafa, highlighted the corporation's statutory mandate and its role in promoting public confidence in the banking system. She explained that the NDIC provides deposit insurance cover to depositors of licensed deposit-taking institutions, including commercial, microfinance, and non-interest banks, with coverage limits designed to protect the majority of small depositors. Also speaking, the manager at the Bank Examination Unit, Ada Madu, reiterated the importance of financial literacy among young Nigerians. She noted that the lack of basic financial education was one of the leading causes of poor money management and economic vulnerability. It was a carnival of sorts as sons and daughters of Umusadege Ogbe Community, Kwale, Ndokwa West Local Government Area, held its Ezemo Festival as a mark of unity among the people. The report.
The festival, usually celebrated once in 2 years, witnessed a large turnout of people, both young and old, as they danced from one quarter to another. The traditional ruler of Umusadege Ogbe and Oduosawan of Otabobe community, Okwa Isaac Obi, enjoined the indigenes of the community to maintain peace throughout the celebration. The event, which lasted for 3 days, commenced with indigenes, both young and old, visiting some of the community chiefs in recognition of their contributions to the growth and development of the community. The chief priest of Ezemo, Chief Charles Odele, led the group and paid homage to the Opaluku of the community at the palace as they finally danced to the Isuyo, where they entertained their guests with various musical instruments and traditional foods. Other chiefs who spoke in their local dialect called for peace and unity during the festival and prayed for long life, good health and prosperity for the people, and described the festival as a unifier that brought together indigenes of the community and called for its sustenance.
The state monthly environmental sanitation exercise will hold across the state tomorrow between the hours of 7 and 10 a.m. A statement by the Director of Public Communication and Functioning Permanent Secretary, Mrs. Theresa Oliko, says there will be the usual restriction of movement during the exercise. The statement said the Commissioner for Environment, Mr. Ejiro Jamani, the Permanent Secretary, staff of the Ministry and other relevant authorities will monitor the exercise across the state. It added that officials of the Delta State Waste Management Board, local government councils and other relevant authorities will evacuate the resultant waste to approved dump sites. It warns that persons loitering or found not taking part in the exercise will be brought before the mobile magistrates court for prosecution and fined accordingly. Commission will conduct the compulsory refresher course and promotion examination for officers on salary grade levels 5 to 10 in the State Civil Service due for promotion on July 1. A statement by the Director of Public Communication and Permanent Secretary, Mrs. Theresa Oliko, enjoined all eligible officers to come along with their staff identity cards, photocopies of letters of first appointment and last promotion. The statement added that only officers who satisfy the requirements and whose names and particulars have been duly forwarded to the Civil Service Commission by the various ministries, departments, and agencies will be accredited and allowed to participate in the exercise. The refresher course for officers on salary grade levels 5 to 10 is slated for Friday, 4th April at the Association of Senior Civil Servants Hall, Miriam Babangida Way, Asaba. Promotion examination for officers on salary grade level 5 to 10 is billed for Saturday, 5th April, holding at TED Fund 1000 Capacity Hall, Dennis Osadebe University, Asaba. The earlier scheduled inauguration and swearing in of the new state head of service, Dr. Minio Seji, earlier scheduled for Monday, 31st March 2025, has been postponed. A statement by the Director of Public Communication and Functioning Permanent Secretary, Theresa Oliko, says a new date will be announced in due course. The State Police Command has declared the following persons missing. They are Mr. Erowose Osiobe, who is mentally ill, of Ekrehabweng Village, Agbaro, Ugeli North Local Government Area. Age 29, he left home on Saturday, March 2 to an unknown destination and has since not returned. Princess Brans Edesiri of number 7 Owejeye Street, Otowodo, Ugeli North Local Government Area, age 27, left home since February last month to Ole and has since not returned. Also missing is Mr. Joshua Ekparebemene of Ekubo Community, Ugeli North Local Government Area, aged 26, left home since January 21 this year to an unknown destination and has since not returned. Miss Mercy Alonge of Amacha Quarters, Opanam, in Oshimili North Local Government Area, is also declared missing. Aged 15, she left home on March 2nd to an unknown destination and has since not returned. Master Ikechukwu Samuel of Igala Camp, Okwe, Oshimili South Local Government Area, aged 4, left home on February 12 last month and has since not returned. A statement by the State Police Public Relations Officer, SP Bright Edafe, has asked persons with useful information on the whereabouts of the missing persons to report to the nearest police station. And now our thought for the day. Check your conscience before you judge any matter. Before we go, let's take a look at some of our major stories. The state governor, Right Honorable Sheriff Oborewori, has charged the State Ministry of Water Resources Development to ensure transparency and efficiency in the management of water projects. Governor Oborewori gave the charge during the celebration of this year's World Water Day with the theme Glacier Preservation, held at the Unity Hall Government House, Asaba. As part of activities marking the 60th birthday of the State Deputy Governor Samande Onyeme, a free medical outreach was organized to bring the much-needed health care to the people of Anyocha Oshimini Federal Constituency. The medical outreach, under the auspices of the Mande Onyeme Foundation, held at the Ogwashiku Civic Center, Ogwashiku, and Anyocha South Local Government Area. The Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria, BON, has informed local governments across the country that it is the sole medium through which the federal government collects license fees from broadcasting stations across the country. The organization was referring to the demand notice served on the Hit FM Calabar in January, requesting the station to pay radio and television license. We also reported that Zimbabwe's president, Mr. Emerson Mnangagwa, has appointed a new army chief ahead of planned protest on Monday, called by a group of war veterans trying to force the president to resign. The former Major General Emmanuel Matutu takes over with immediate effect. That ends Delta TV Main News at 8. Thank you so much for joining us. I am Blessing Usiagbada. Have a restful night and a great weekend. Bye for now.